Okay, today we're going to be talking about fly management and keeping flies off your cows. And a lot of people think that flies are just pests, but they're more than just pests. They can carry diseases. Pink eye, of course, is the one that most producers are worried about. And yes, flies are responsible for pink eye, but they can also be responsible for other diseases. But these flies also are biting animals as well. And of course, if they're irritating these animals, they're not eating as they should, they're not gaining weight as they should. Something that has to be done with managing these flies is waste control, because these flies will feed on fresh manure and they also lay their larvae in fresh manure. But fresh manure is required, so if that fresh manure is removed, if it's dried out, these flies have no place to feed. They also have no place to lay their larvae, and that cuts down on population. And it can be as simple as dragging the pastures with some sort of metal drag, a fence post behind a four-wheeler, anything that spreads the manure out. Also in areas where animals congregate and there's several manure piles around, those can be cleaned up. Some of these cows are able to produce quite a large amount of manure in a day. So it is a full-time job to try to manage this waste. Also keeping these flies off the animals. And I like an integrated approach. I do not have a magic bullet. It is something that takes management and working with different products in an order to help keep these flies off. I like to start early in the fly season, early in spring, summer, with an insect growth regulator or some sort of larvicide in the minerals. These larvicides, of course, will kill these flies if it's in the minerals. Insect growth regulators, they come in blocks, they can also come in mineral packs, and the cow ingests those and it's shed in the manure. It does not keep the flies off the cows. That's something important to remember. It sterilizes the fly in the manure pile, and that helps to cut down on the population of these flies. A second approach, or a second management tool, topicals or Backrubs. Those can be put out early in the season where these cows will use them, and make sure you're putting these in an area where these animals are forced to use these Backrubs. If they're going up to a salt block or a mineral lick or the water tank, they have to pass underneath these to get to that area, and then of course that topical is put along their back. Also a spray topical can be put on these cows. Make sure you're not mixing different type of active ingredients when you're using these topicals. Make sure you're using a pyrethroid for a full season or an organophosphate for a full season. Also, later in the year, when there's more than 50 flies per side of the animal, I like to start using fly tags. You can either use one per animal or two per animal. Once again, don't mix the ingredients. Don't use an organophosphate Backrub and then a pyrethroid ear tag. Make sure you're using the same class of drugs for at least 1 to 2 years and then swap. Work with your local veterinarian once again, or work with your extension specialist to come up with a program that is tailor-made to your production.